Ladies and gentlemen, in a world where everyone communicates and very few connect, please stand and help me give a warm Montreal welcome from Gatineau, Quebec, J.J. Brun.
Have you ever been acluistic? Acluistic, one without a clue. You're probably experiencing that moment right now. Life is a series of acluistic moments. We just lack awareness for a second. We don't understand the question. We don't understand what life's challenges. Because just before, when you're in that moment, it's going to transit into something called a character building moment. Life is going to provide us a challenge. A lot of these character building moments. Let me take you on a journey. Maybe you can relate to this. My first day of high school. Mom said, Jean, this is going to be the best day of your life. She lied. What it was is a series of acluistic moments. It was a series of character building moments. When you go from a school that has 100 students to a school that has thousands, you have to adapt to a new environment. You have to adapt to the school curriculum, the teachers and their needs and their expectation. You have to adapt and try to fit into a gang. Do you want to be a part of the gang? Do you know that you're in a gang? You know, it's so challenging. But the most challenging part of that time in high school is being asked that question over and over and over again. So what do you want to do after high school? What do you want to be in life? What are your dreams? And I'm absolutely acluistic, one without a clue. My gosh, if I could have bought a clue, I would have bought one right there. And then you've got that famous 15 minutes with your career counselor. It's your orientation day. And that in 15 minutes, we're going to set the rest of your future for you. I was even more acluistic after that session. Mom was right that it was, when I look back, one of the best time of my life. Because the truth spoken is not as powerful as the truth that's been self-discovered. We can give you the definition, but until we've actually done it ourselves, we accept that lesson that life is giving us. So I said, Mom was right. You see, after high school, all our friends go on their separate ways. Because after high school, maybe you start working. Maybe you start a family. Maybe you continue your education in trade school, college, or university. Maybe you don't pass go and you go straight to jail. Or maybe you're at university and you have a fight with Dad and leave university to join the military, which was my case. You see, I was acluistic, one without a clue. I did not know, even at university, what I wanted to be, what I wanted to do in life. I realized that I needed some choices and some challenges and some form of control, and I wasn't able to get that with Dad at that time. I joined the military. I spent 20 years in the military. Had a very good career in the military. It was more in the environment that I was geared towards. In those 20 years, I spent 5 within the combat arms. That's the Royal 22e Regiment. That's the infantry. In 15 years, I specialized also in the field of I worked within the field of the intelligence branch, the Canadian Forces Intelligence Branch, where I specialize in the field of human intelligence. There are many different collecting platforms out there. You've heard of imagery intelligence, where you can take a picture and you can see the terrain. Signals intelligence, we can listen to your conversation on the phone and discern who's doing what. Human intelligence is what I specialize in. And my claim to fame is I was the first one selected for contact handling since the Second World War. A contact handler has to deploy into a hostile environment, cultivate sources within that environment, determine their intentions, and modify their behaviors if and when required. Jedi mind tricks. Bottom line, I was going to be paid and evaluated by my ability to network with people, to build relationships, decode their needs, understand their expectation. And at one point, I will present an idea, and they will buy in, and they will switch. They will start wearing the Team Canada jersey. That was my job. I remember my first day when I came into theater. I was taken from the airport, brought into a room, and I was briefed on the local situation. I was provided with money. I was provided with all my undercover credentials. I was provided with some rations, and I was provided with my weapon. 1 pistol, 2 magazines, 10 bullets. Now, I was cluistic once again. You see, each magazine can take 10 bullets. I got 2. Stands to reason that I should have 20 bullets. I tried to explain that. It says here in the book, 1 pistol, 2 magazine, 10 bullets. My gosh. I'm in a war zone, and that's all I have. I knew at that point, one of my biggest fears was not the lack of ammunition. Heck, Rambo had more ammunition than I had. I knew that that pistol was not going to get me out of it, that I will need another tool, that I will need something else. And I brought it here with me. The pencil. Did you know that there's 5 things you can learn about this pencil? 5 things. Number 1, before you can be usable as a pencil, you must first learn to be placed in somebody else's hand. Number 2, you're going to go through some sharpening as a pencil. That's okay. Let me encourage you. You're going to be better because of the sharpening. You're going to make mistakes as a pencil. Hey, that's why I placed an eraser at the end. Number 4, it's not what you look like. It's not your shape, it's not your size. That's the real value. It's what I place inside of you that's the real value. And the last, you were created, designed, invented for one thing and one thing only. And that's to leave your mark on every surface you come in contact with. That is what saved me. As opposed to surviving, I was able to thrive. You see, when I was in theater, when I was in that war zone, I had to be willing to be placed in somebody else's care, somebody else's hand, my partner, my comrade, that they had my back. Because nobody's going to come and help us. We were it. I was willing to go through some character building moments, some sharpening. No training, whether it's in high school or in the military, can prepare you for a war zone. I had to be willing to use the eraser, to learn from my messages or my messes, and to learn from it, and then to give myself the right to start over. It's not what you look on the outside. It's not the fact that I'm a Canadian and an American and a British and an Aussie. It's what we have inside. What's your core? What's your value? What's your true passion that really matters? And at the end, I was able to leave my mark. Because one of the key fears that I had is that I was going to be kicked out. As in, you're the first Canadian, we never want to see another Canadian. But at the end, I had the largest networks of bad guys that has ever been seen before. And our work changed policy. Now for you, what does this pencil represent? You see, life is going to give you cluistic moments. And you're going to be clueless. You can either survive that character building moments that you're about to get into, or you can thrive. And I would say, remember the pencil. Remember to be teachable when life gives you a character building moment. Remember that it's going to hurt. There's some life lesson that you're going to go through, but you're going to be better because of those lessons. Remember that you've got the right to start over with the information you have today. Your past does not dictate your future. Give yourself a break. Start over. It's okay. It's not what we look. Remember the pencil. It's not what's the outside. Yeah, we can all lose a pound here and there. Don't be so hard on yourself. The real value is inside. Find that core passion. And remember that you were designed, created, and invented for one thing and one thing only, and that's to seed into other people's lives. Your mess is your message. Your mission in life is to teach others what you've learned from those messes so that you can leave your mark, a mark of hope. So, as we leave today, remember the pencil. We are on this journey together. Might as well bring a pencil with you. You never know when you have to leave a mark.